This is part one of the tangent lines video. So the objective of this video is to be able to find the equation of a tangent line to a function at a point. So we have some notes to help us out. One, you may have to find the y value of the point on the graph by substituting in the given x to the original equation. Two, you will find the derivative of f. 3, evaluate f prime to get the slope of the graph, and this must be a number. And 4, substitute the given point and slope of the derivative at the x value into the points in point slope formula. So a quick refresher on what point slope formula is. Remember that is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, so that is our formula from Algebra 1. So, first example, find the equation of the tangent line to the graph f of x equals x squared when x equals -2. So anytime we're writing an equation, we need two things. And that was given to us in this formula, which we call point slope formula. So the two things we need, a point and a slope. So we need to make sure we find that. So we're going to find a point and a slope. And the slope is going to be the slope of the tangent line. So I'm going to write slope tangent. Okay. Now we were given an x value. The x value that we were given was -2. So we know half of the point. So now we can find the other half of the point by evaluating f of -2. So f of -2 is 4. So the other part of our point is 4. Now, one thing I do want you to get used to is seeing a point written as f of -2 equals 4, because that is the same thing. So when you see this, just know it's the same. Now, we need to find the slope of the tangent. So in order to do that, we have to find the derivative of f of x. So f of x, again, is x squared. We're going to find the derivative by multiplying by 2 and subtracting 1 from the exponent. And now to find the slope of the tangent line, we can evaluate at -2. So when we evaluate at -2, 2 times -2 is -4. And now we have the slope of our tangent line, which is -4. Now that we have our point and we have our slope, we can we can write it in point slope form. So that would be y minus 4 equal to m, and m is -4, times x minus, and we're plugging in a -2, so that double negative is what turns this positive. And let me go ahead and color coordinate them, so you know where each of them went. There we go. Okay, and that would be the equation of the tangent line. Now, with this equation, you could solve for y if you needed to, but don't do that unless that's how answer choices are. Okay, number 2 was a previous AP test question. So this one's going to be important, something you could see on test day. So here we go. It says let f be the function defined by f of x. Find the equation of the line tangent to the graph at x equals -1. So again, you need two things to write the equation. You need a point and you need a slope. And the slope has to be the slope of the tangent. Okay, now we know an x value because that was given to us. The x value was given to us, f of -1, or sorry, -1. So f of -1 is equal to what? If we plug in -1 for every single x, what would we get? Well, we would get negative 1 to the third power, which is negative 1. Okay. Negative 1 times 4 is a negative 4. Negative 5 times negative 1 is plus 5. And we have plus 3. So negative 4 plus 5 is 1, plus 3 is 4. So we get the point of 4. So we have the point negative 1, 4. Now we need to find the slope of the tangent line. So we're going to take the derivative of f of x. That would be 12x squared minus 5. Then we evaluate f prime of negative 1. That would be 12 minus 5. So therefore, f prime of negative 1 is equal to 7. That is the slope of the tangent line. So now we can write our equation. So our equation, y minus, my y value is 4, equals my slope of 7 times x minus, and I'm plugging in a negative 1, so the double negative turns that into a positive. And so that would be the slope of my tangent line. Okay, looking at number 3. Using the table below, find the equation of the line tangent to h of x at x equals 8, provided that h of x is differentiable function. So we know our x value. So we need two things. We need a point, and we need the slope of the tangent line. Okay, so to find my point, I know my x value is 8. I just need to find the y value, and we can use the table to help us out. So when x is 8, what is h of x? When x is 8, h of x is 9. So h of 8 equals 9. That's my point. Then we need our slope. So to find our slope, that's when h prime of 8 equals something. So what is the derivative when x equals 8? That is negative 4. We have our point, we have our slope, we can write our equation. So we have y minus 9 equal to negative 4 times x minus 8. Okay. Now, number 4 will have its own separate video because it does involve a calculator, and I will have a calculator video to show you how to use it. Okay, so check out the video for example 4. So skipping on to number 5. Number 5 says, find the equation of the line that is tangent to the graph of f of x equals 2x squared and is parallel to 4x plus y plus 3 equals 0. So a couple things we need to talk about. We need to know what parallel means. Okay, we know that parallel lines never intersect, but what does that mean about their slope? We need to know that parallel lines have the same slope. Okay, now in your homework, it's going to talk about perpendicular lines. You need to know that their slopes are the opposite sign and they're flipped. So opposite reciprocal. So if you have a negative 1/2, perpendicular slope is a positive 2. If you have a negative 3/4, perpendicular is a positive 4/3. Okay, but in this case, we want the same slope. So we need to know what the slope is of this equation. So we're going to take 4x and 3 and move them to the other side by subtracting. So when we do that, we get negative 4x minus 3. So we want the slope. So the slope of this line is a negative 4. Okay. Well, for the slope of the tangent line, we want it to be parallel to that. So whenever we have our point and our slope, then we know that the slope is going to be negative 4. Okay, so now we just need to find the point. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the derivative. F prime of x is equal to 4x. And now we can take the derivative and set it equal to negative 4 to solve for x, because this is what f prime of x equals. So we have negative 4 equal to 4x. I divide both sides by 4 and I get a negative 1. So this is my x value of my point. So now I just need to evaluate, or we just need to evaluate f of negative 1. F of negative 1, if we plug in negative 1 squared is a positive 1 times 2 is 2. So we get the point negative 1, 2. We have a slope of negative 4. So our equation is y minus 2 equal to negative 4 times x minus a negative 1. And that would be the slope of the tangent line. Okay, so there's that. Next one. Let f be a function that is differentiable for all real numbers. The table above gives the values of f and its derivative, f prime, for selected points x in the closed interval negative 1.5 to 1.5. Write an equation of the line tangent to the graph of f at the point where x equals 1. Use this line to approximate the value of f of 1.2. So that was a whole lot of information, step by step. The first step, write the equation of the line tangent to the graph of f at the point where x equals 1. So to do that, we need two things. We need a point, and we need the slope of the tangent. Okay, we were already given an x value. The x value was negative 1. Sorry, positive 1. We need the y value. So when our x is positive 1, our y value is negative 4. Then we need the slope of the tangent line. So that's when our derivative is evaluated at 1. So when our derivative is evaluated at 1, so that would be f prime of 1. F prime of 1 is 5. So now we can write this equation of the tangent line. So that would be y minus a negative 4 equal to 5 times x minus 1. That is the slope of the tangent line. So that is the first part of our answer. The second part says, use this line to approximate the value of f of 1.2. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and solve for y. And so I'm going to have 5 times x minus 1, and I'm just going to subtract the 4 over. So now we can evaluate 1.2. And so that would be 5 times 1.2 minus 1 minus 4. So that would be 5 times 0.2 minus 4. 5 times 0.2 is 1 minus 4. We get a negative 3. So how you have to write your answer. Because it said f of 1.2, we're going to say f of 1.2 is approximately negative 3, and that would be it. So that is the end of the first part of the tangent lines videos. Okay, so come back for part 2 and part 3 and the calculator part for number 4.